Hello friends, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. My name is Leah Simpson. This is Homeschool at Heart, and today I'm going to be talking about my 2023-2024 curriculum picks for my soon-to-be 5th grader. All right, you guys, we all know that this is the time of year that is a little bit exciting, but also a little bit overwhelming in choosing what we're going to be living with as far as what we're going to teach from for the next school year. So I got everything gathered together, hopefully early enough that it's helpful to you guys. I'm going to be talking about just our core curriculum. I don't have like a lot of the supplemental materials yet that I will have soon, but I'm going to talk about what main choices I've made for next year. So that'll be for math, science, history, and language arts, as well as Bible. So first of all, I am, next year will be our 8th year homeschooling. So I have 7 years under my belt now. I have 3 daughters. One will be going into 3rd, one will be going into 5th, and one will be going into 6th grade. So I decided to divide up my curriculum videos. Last year, I went ahead and just did every piece of curriculum I was going to use for all 3 of them in one video. This year, because I will also have a junior higher, I thought that it might be better for people who are looking just for junior high curriculum to have a shorter selection of videos to go through and just, more tuned into what people might be actually looking for specifically. So I decided to go ahead and do separate videos this year. So last week, I posted my 3rd grade curriculum picks. So if you have a 3rd grader and you want to see that video, you can go back to last week's. I will try to link them. And then next week, I will be posting my 6th grade curriculum picks video. So stay tuned for that one. All right, for Bible, we are going to try something new this year. My kids are also in Awana at our church, and we love that. And actually, the group that they're all going to be in for their grade levels has a wonderful Bible study that they will be doing. But I wanted to be a little more hands-on with Bible study with them for this coming year. And we might start this during the summer, but if we do, that doesn't keep us from doing more of these studies in the fall. So this one is called My Brother's Keeper, a Biblical Study on Loving Your Siblings, and it is by Not Consumed Ministries. And I just found out about these guys, this publishing company, recently through Ashley from Grace and Grit. So if you want to check her out, she's the one that I found out about this from. And it is a little Bible study. It has a parent guide and also parent Bible study to go with it. This is the junior level. It also has a primary level, so my younger daughter will be doing the primary level. So this one has some lines to fill in, but it also has some places to put pictures. So that's kind of cool. And a few cute little pictures in here. It also comes with stickers, a bookmark, and the back says, my job is to love, serve, share, forgive, and witness. And it has Bible verses to go with all of those. And then it also has some challenge cards, and they are really beautiful. This one is set up a time every week to pray with my siblings, and it gives some ideas. Another one says, make 3 service coupons for your sibling, things you promise to do for them, and it gives some ideas. And then the parent guide, where did I put that? Okay, here it is. The parent guide just has basically the same, like it'll tell you how to use it, but it's basically the same things that you're going to go through and study so that you can help them. But, you know, more in depth for you. Then it also has the stickers and the bookmark and parent challenges for you to do for your siblings. So this one, set up a time every week to pray for or with your siblings. This one is pick one way to kindly serve a sibling, and the ideas are send them lunch money through a delivery service, clean their house, babysit their kids, things like that. So I'm kind of excited to dig into this and do some of these things for my siblings. I mean, we kind of do nice things for each other anyway, but it's always nice to have like a box to check off. So that is what we'll be doing for Bible. They will also be continuing to do Awana, but we'll be doing this together. We already do like a short devotion together, but because everybody will be in either upper elementary or junior high next year, I feel like we can kind of do something a little bit more in depth. Okay, so for language arts, we are going to be doing Moving Beyond the Page. So this is worth mentioning. If you watched last year's curriculum picks video, you will notice that a lot of these things are the same. But I feel like we really hit a good stride this year with our homeschool, and I don't really want to mess with it too much. So the thing that I did though is that I didn't buy the entire year's worth of Moving Beyond the Page. This is really rigorous. And so because we also are doing the IEW structure and style with my older two, I don't want to overdo it with just things that I feel like are busy work. They are excellent readers with excellent reading comprehension. So this, if I was not homeschooling through a charter, I would probably skip this and just tell them books to read. Give them like a list of suggestions that they could choose from, because I just feel like this is kind of unnecessary, but the school needs it. So I've got The Wanderer, and here is the book that goes with it, The Wanderer. And then it also has somewhere inside this guide a dolphin bead project to do. But what's inside of these guides, if you're not familiar with Moving Beyond the Page, is so they have discussion questions. There is all the like grammar and spelling and things like that. There's activities in here. Activity 1 is charting the course. So you're using an atlas or an online map, locate and label the places listed below. So starting point is Connecticut, then they go to Martha's Vineyard, Grand Man Island, and Block Island, and then they visit England and Ireland. So there's also, looks like we could chart the course on this map. There's some online things that you can do. They teach things like parts of a sailboat, things like that. It's honestly, I picked the ages 10 to 12 because I liked some of the stories that they'll be reading. But this one is just short stories. So for this one, we'll be doing this Shelf Life book that has a bunch of short stories in it. The Good Deed by Marian Dane Bauer, In Your Hat by Ellen Crawford, Escape by Margaret Peterson Haddix. I don't actually know all of these, so I probably will read this over the summer, so I can kind of know what's going to be going into my kids' brains. And then it came with this classic short stories book as well. So that'll be more of the same of that, but I only wanted to commit to those two guides right up front because we will also be doing structure and style with my 4th grader. This will be the level that she'll continue on doing. She's completed the level before this, so 1A, I think. And then, so she's on 2A. And then I think after that is 1B, and I'm not sure. The levels for IEW are really confusing, guys, but I did look up which one was next before I bought curriculum for it. So anyway, right now she's on week 6 of this, and there's, I believe, 24 weeks. So she's probably not going to finish this before the end of the school year this year. But she'll finish up whatever she doesn't complete at the beginning of next year, and then she'll start on with the next level, which is a blue binder. I can't remember the number of it. If you watch Beth's curriculum video next week, I'll show it. But we love IEW. It has really honed their skills as writers. Ellie is an excellent writer already, but Mr. Pudawa's lessons have been just enormously valuable. So highly recommend this curriculum to kids that are very good readers. If they're not really great readers yet, like we started both my big kids in 3rd grade with this curriculum, but we could not have started it with Charlotte yet. It's just a little bit too much, and I think it would be discouraging for her more than it would be helpful. So a lot of people don't even start this until junior high. My kids have been at my big kids have been at a really advanced reading level for a really long time. So we just went ahead and started on with that. And then they have lots of other resources from IEW that we can continue working on after they finish structure and style, which is about 4 years worth of work. Okay, so for math, we are going to be doing Math and Focus. She already started 5A yesterday. I don't know. Anyway, she finished the 4th grade level. She started on the 5th grade level this week. So she will work through some of that this year, and then starting in the fall, we'll just pick up where we left off. But I have 5A and 5B. I also have the teacher's manuals. They're not in my house because I loaned them to a friend. Those are so expensive, you guys. Teacher's editions of books are just enormously expensive anyway, but math books I feel like are just extra expensive. So I loaned those to a friend because I was able to get them at a used curriculum sale a while back. So we'll be working on that. Math and Focus is a Common Core based math curriculum. So if you're not into that, I wouldn't probably jump into it for the first time in 5th grade. It might be too confusing. But I do also have a curriculum video on comparing different math curriculums. It includes Math and Focus, Saxon Math, and Right Start Math. So I'll go ahead and link that one for you if you want to see some different curriculums, kind of how they teach a specific lesson. I show that in that video from last year. I have worked specifically with those 3 math curriculums for at least a couple of years each, and each one of them has some really good things about it. It's just this Math and Focus works really well for my 2 younger children. They have not had any problems with it. My oldest didn't do super well with Math and Focus, so we switched to Saxon, and then ultimately landed on Right Start Math, which is the perfect fit for her, and you'll see more of that in next week's video. So that is what we're doing for math for next year. She may end up zipping through this. It doesn't seem like these 2 books are very thick, so we'll probably end up having to go into the 6th grade workbook for next year. Also with Math and Focus, I never buy the student textbook. I only buy the teacher editions and then the student workbook that they write in. The other book is a hardbound book with like glossy pages. They don't write in it at all, and it's a waste of your money, so don't buy that one. So that is my tip for Math and Focus. You will not use it, probably. You will get plenty of work out of just the workbook and the teacher's edition. Don't need to buy the other one. Okay, so let's move on to history. So history and science are actually my favorite subjects to teach. We are going to be picking up with, we did California history through Beautiful Feet books. This year, we loved it. So next year we're going to do Early American History, also by Beautiful Feet Books. This is the guide. So it's not very big, but there are tons of books in here, so it will take us the entire year to complete this, if not longer. We may not even finish the whole thing. We'll see. This is the, excuse my voice, this is the literature approach for intermediate grades. So this one spans 3rd grade through 6th grade, which is perfect because I have a 3rd grader, a 5th grader, and a 6th grader. So it worked out really well as far as our charter school goes. So what is going to be inside of this is, here's our book list. So we'll be using A Child's First Book of American History. We'll be learning about Vikings, Columbus, Pocahontas, William Bradford, the Landing of the Pilgrims, Benjamin Franklin, Amos Fortune, Paul Revere, George Washington. There's a book called A More Perfect Union, The Story of Sacagawea, Lewis and Clark, Abe Lincoln. There's a book about Harriet Tubman. There's a book about Sojourner Truth, Early American History Timeline, and then Providential History, more about George Washington, story about Valley Forge, and then we'll learn about John James Audubon and the Erie Canal. So the other thing that's inside of this book is they have these short lessons. So you read the literature, and then they have discussion questions for you, and sometimes there's like links you can go to, like YouTube videos and other websites to get a little bit more information. So this is why, okay, so this book wasn't allowed to be purchased by our charter school, and I just saw why. So they have like the principle of self-control. So this has Bible verses in it. So if you're not into that, then probably this is not the right curriculum for you. The California history did not have any kind of Bible-based anything in it, as far as I know. We haven't completely finished it, but we are about 2/3 of the way through. Okay, and then for science, we are going to continue on. This year we started using Harbor and Sprout, which is a printable unit study curriculum, and we are going to keep using this next year. This has revolutionized our science, you guys. I was always like a really big believer in Nancy Larson science and loved it, loved it, loved it. I still love it. It's a great science curriculum. But this past year, we decided that we are going to have some family subjects. So we do morning time together, and that includes either history or science, depending on the day. And I really wanted that to be a subject that we did all together. So I started researching, and I go through a public charter, so we couldn't use The Good and the Beautiful, which was my first thought. But I did find Harbor and Sprout, and my charter school will work with them. And it is a beautiful curriculum, you guys. There are tons of ways that you can make it fit with your faith. And we do that every single day. We talk about our faith in conjunction with our secular curriculum, so don't worry about that. But we are loving the unit study approach. They have a very extensive book list that goes with each of the units, and so we pick out books to read during our morning time, and then we can do lots of rabbit trails and deep diving into whatever subject that we're working on. So like, for instance, right now we're working on homesteading, and the science part of that is all about food preservation and like how food goes bad. So we're doing like a really long experiment on food mold, and it's been super exciting and interesting to watch. I wouldn't have thought it would be, because I mean mold is kind of gross, but it's been really cool to watch all of that kind of progress and happen over time. And then for the nature study part of it, because there's 4 weeks worth of science, and then there's 4 lessons of nature study. So we put those together because we do a science lesson and a nature study lesson each week. We're learning about gardening. So it's, you know, the parts of a seed, the parts of a flower, the parts of a fruit or a vegetable, and then also like uses for those things. And then there's also like a composting lesson. And my middle child, the one that this video is for, has gotten really into composting. So she's making her own compost. It's not as disgusting as I was thinking it was going to be. And we're going to benefit from that in the months to come. So that's been really cool. So for the beginning of next year, I think we're going to work on botany. We really love learning about plants. And that will tie into a few of our other things that we're going to be doing next year. So that's going to be really exciting. So that is all of the things that we're going to be doing as our core curriculum. So Bible, history, science, math, and language arts. And I will be gathering some supplemental things in the months to come, but we have plenty of time to get that handled. I'll be going to the homeschool convention in June. So I'm sure that I will see lots of really cool stuff there. But you guys know that I love you and I want to share all of it with you. So you'll be seeing some of that stuff coming up in a future video, and I will talk to you later. See you next week. All right, you guys, thanks for watching all the way to the end. So car update. We're going to talk about the car. You guys, car shopping is like the worst. I am not loving this. So we did find a car. Our van decided on the way to San Juan Capistrano that it was going to overheat, which was crazy. It hasn't done this for probably the 10 years since we had the engine replaced. So we bought the car and I went on a trip to Sacramento to see some family, and we had just had the radiator replaced in it right after we bought it because it was about 10 years old at that time. So long story short, it overheated then. So I was having terrible flashbacks this last week when it was overheating. So we went ahead and found the car that we want. It was not in the color that I wanted. It was not at the dealership that I wanted to purchase it through, but it was a brand new Kia Carnival, purchased out of a dealership that neither Tim nor I felt great about. But we got it for what is right now a reasonable deal. If you know anything about car prices right now, it's sickening to like try to purchase a brand new car. But used cars are about the same price and they have a lot of miles on them. So we decided to go with brand new. And then it was, anyway, we had to deal with this guy. So we're like talking with a few different dealerships, because the other thing is that right now in the car market, if you're looking for a car that takes more than one computer chip, then you're going to have to just like wait for it to come in, because they're not producing a ton of those, because there's a computer chip shortage currently because of the year that we don't speak of, because YouTube will censor me. Anyway, so it's hard to get your hands on one of these cars. Typically they are sold months before they hit the lot. So this one was going to come in a couple of weeks. So that was exciting, but also scary because of how much money it was going to cost. So we had been calling around to a few different dealerships. Well, while the guy was off talking to his manager to see what kind of deal we could get, Tim called back another guy who claimed to have a car on the lot. Well, he was still on the phone when the salesman came back. So I told him, oh, we're on the phone with another Kia dealership. It's, you know, they don't work on commission. according to the Kia salespeople. And so we didn't think it was a big deal. Well, the guy starts saying, well, that's really unethical. You guys are like trying to like get deals from the same company. Anyway, I was just like, okay, well, I have one kid that needs a second round of braces and one kid that probably needs 2 rounds of braces. So that's what I'm thinking about when we're considering like the $11,000 markup that you are claiming everyone puts on these cars. So you can tell me whether that is actually ethical or not. So anyway, that long story short, he stopped badgering me about whether we were being ethical or not. But so we made the deal, put down the deposit, and then left. Neither one of us felt great about it though, you guys. So, and it wasn't the color I wanted. It was black. I wasn't thrilled about it, but it was also like not on the list of ones that I would prefer not to have, but I really wanted a blue one with gray interior. And I didn't even know if that was like a thing that could happen. So then I am like, okay, we're getting a car. It's going to be fine. Tim also had surgery this week. And so he, on Monday, was like, I'm going to call around to a few more dealerships. He just didn't feel great about this. So he called a few more dealerships. As it turned out, they didn't tell us this. I'm not sure what happened because we were at the dealership that we wanted to buy the car from. They were like, no, we don't know when this car is coming in. It wasn't even the color that we wanted. It was a different car. And then all of a sudden on Monday, they found out that they were getting in the blue one with the gray interior, you guys. And it was the nicer model. And we're like, okay, we're already like at the top of what our budget is for this car. Tim was talking back and forth with them and he's like, okay, well, I'll just drive down there. It's like in the next town over and I had some things to do and he's like, I'll just go. It'll be fine. We're not going to like buy the car today. It would be reserving the car. They don't need us both there for that. So he goes and he's gone for a long time. So finally I text him and I'm like, how's it going? And he goes, good. That was all he said back. And then an hour later he called me and was like, they are getting in the blue Carnival with the gray interior. It's in the EX instead of the LX. Anyway, so it's like the next tier up from what we wanted. But we were really just trying to save money. But they were able to work out a deal that was going to be less expensive than the other dealership for the cheaper version of the car. So for the same amount of money, it might even be cheaper by the time we end up with like warranty packages and things like that. We're not sure until the car comes in a month. But the end price for the vehicle was less money than the cheaper one at the dealership I didn't want to use. And I got the color that I wanted. So it will also have the tailgate that goes up with the push button instead of me having to pull it with my back. That's going to be huge. And it's the color I want, the interior that I want. You guys, I cried because God is just so, so good. So that is my story for you today. It's not funny, but it was just, God is so faithful, you guys. God is so faithful. We've been trying so hard to be such good stewards of the money that we are given. And he really rewarded that with the exact right thing. So I hope that's encouraging. Thank you guys again for watching. I really appreciate all of you, and I will talk to you in my next video.